Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks, where we meet with the top thought leaders and strategists in emerging technologies, digital assets, a regulatory landscape, and capital markets. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, and joining me on the desk at the Nasdaq market site, we have Nasdaq-listed WD's Chief Executive Officer, Irving Tan, Chief Financial Officer Kris Sennesael, and Chief Human Resources Officer Katie Watson. We're here to discuss reinventing scalable storage technologies for the AI data-driven economy. We'll also talk about the people behind the innovation. It is great to have all of you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks, and congratulations on what's been a number of announcements to bring the company to where it is today. And Irving, I think the natural question is what the AI supercycle means for WD.
Well, first of all, it's a massive opportunity, but it also means it's a massive responsibility for us because 80% of the data stored in hyperscale data centers is based on hard drives. And so we have to not only be able to keep up with the massive demand for storage infrastructure, but to continue to produce high-performance drives that are suitable for the AI workloads of the future.
Yeah, and Kris, from your perspective, how would you say that the supercycle is impacting WD's?
Oh, it has completely changed our financial model and financial output, and we are now a company with very strong top-line growth. We're expanding our gross and operating margin. We generate a ton of cash, and we actually reinvest the cash in the business and return it back to the shareholders.
Yeah, and Katie, of course, the technology, the operational side of it is one thing. At the end of the day, this innovation is really led by WD's people.
Yeah, we have remarkable employees. We have about 40,000 employees around the globe, and they're just so singularly focused on how they deliver to customers and how we innovate faster, knowing that it's so important today.
Yeah, and we're going to get more into the team in just a moment here, but Irving, I want to go back to the macro demands that's really driving this AI data-driven economy.
Yeah, look, over the last 12 months, what we've seen is a massive demand for storage as AI training models have been developed, especially as they've moved to multimodal models, right? Initially, it was all text-based, so the requirements for data storage and retention was relatively small. But as they moved to multimodal, primarily video, the requirement for storage has increased. And as we move to this next phase of inference, inference is generating a lot more data as a result of that. And every query that you make from an inference perspective needs to be stored. So you need to store the entire history of all the queries. So that's just driving massive demands for storage going forward.
Yeah, and Kris, of course, the million-dollar question is how do you quantify the value of this data?
Oh, you can ask our customers. Customers are considering data the new gold. Yeah. And data is actually more valuable than gold today. And we provide the storage of that data, and our customers understand that as well and see hard disk drives as much more strategic in their data center build out.
Yeah, and what about the pace of data creation and AI workloads? What really stands out there?
Well, we anticipate data growth over the next 5 years to grow at a CAGR of about 25% at a minimum, with some upside there. But it's really about the value of data, as Kris pointed out, really increasing, because ultimately, what do you need in AI? It's about data. Data drives the training, data drives the inference. So as Kris rightly pointed out, the value of data has gone up, and as a result, that the amount of data that's getting retained from the generation is increasing.
What's the most misunderstood part of the storage landscape, though? We don't hear about that quite often as we do about the value of data or the technology behind AI.
Yeah, I think particularly for us, people think that hard drives are our technology of the past, but when you talk about mass scale storage, to be able to deliver the right economics to make storage work in a hyperscale environment, and to have the reliability and the quality to be able to store your data for long term and be able to continuously read, write to that storage device, no technology out there comes close to what HDDs can do.
Yeah, and Katie, the pace of technology, to Irving's point, is evolving quicker than Moore's Law, as an example. That's kind of out the window at this point. So from the talent perspective, how are you investing in your people, whether it's upskilling, reskilling? Because I would imagine this is central to your strategy.
It is, yeah. We've been very focused on how do we make sure that they have the skill set that we need, not just for today, but for tomorrow, as well as creating a culture where they feel like they can really innovate quickly. So how do we help them understand that they can take chances, fail fast, learn faster, and really deliver on behalf of customers? So it's an exciting time for employees.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Irving, when you try and wrap your head around this in terms of the operational approach, how do you make that strategic shift?
Yeah, I think first of all, talent, as Katie pointed out, we have a rich history of having 55 years of knowing how to build hard drives. And over the last few years, we've been complementing that capability by bringing more people from our customers, people who understand the hyperscale data center architectures, people who understand what AI is going to be required of us. And that's why we're really excited about what we've just announced at Innovation Day, right? It's not only about continuing to be able to deliver high capacity storage that's required to cater for the explosion of data, but equally performance capabilities that are needed to support AI going forward.
Yeah, and there's 3 key bets in technical areas that WD is making right now.
Absolutely. The first is very much basic, continuing to be able to deliver massive storage capacity to our customers. And we're not doing this by adding unit capacity to the business. We're using technology. So we're increasing the capacity of drives that we're shipping to our customers. Last year, our average top end of our drives were at 32 terabytes, and we just announced at Innovation Day we're introducing our next generation drive at 40 terabytes, and we have a roadmap to get them up to 100 terabytes per drive. So that's really important. And beyond that, at Innovation Day, we also announced new exciting technologies that will increase both the bandwidth and throughput of what the drives can deliver. So that will also help deliver information faster, at a much faster rate to cater to AI workloads going forward, and more energy efficient drives, especially given how much energy data centers consume.
Katie, what about investing in talent at every stage, whether it's from early career to people who have significant technical expertise?
Yeah, I would say we're pretty unique because we have a lot of very long tenured employees. In fact, for our Nasdaq opening, we had some employees who've been with us for 50 years, but we also had employees that literally it was their first day right out of undergraduate. So, it's how do we have people who really understand the hard drives and they've been working on it for a long period of their career? How can they train and mentor those who are newer to learning about it? So it's just really incredible that. Yeah.
It certainly is. And Irving, I know, WD has a rich history of being involved with academia as well. So when you think about balancing near-term product cycles with longer-term R&D, what's your approach to that?
Well, we're absolutely delivering for today, but we continue to innovate for tomorrow. And we have 275 researchers, PhDs in our research team that are continuing to build next generation products, to continue to look at science and physics. We're not just looking at hard drives, we also are innovating in quantum technology going forward. And we've made an investment into a company called Collabs, where it's not just an investment, but we're also providing them some of the magnetics capability that we have and the nano fabrication to be able to build qubits when quantum computing becomes economical and at scale.
Does that align with evolving customer needs? How will that translate longer term?
Absolutely. If you look at what's the big driver of growth today, it's AI. If you fast forward, what's beyond AI? It's going to be quantum.
Yeah, it certainly is. So Kris, let's talk about the outlook here in terms of the broader industry. How do you think it's going to look? How do you think it's going to be positioned?
This is just the beginning of a new era, and WD is very well positioned to leverage the AI-driven data economy. It all comes down to creating long-term shareholder value by continuing to innovate and focus on execution. We have deep customer engagements with the most successful companies on this planet. And again, we're well positioned there to drive and create long-term shareholder value.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's really aligning with evolving customer needs because the technology is evolving so quickly.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's where the innovation part is very, very critical. Stay very close connected to the customers, understand what they need and want, and then go and deliver the new innovative products.
Yeah, so Katie, to tie that in a neat package here, sounds like it's also a people first as a business strategy as well, internal folks and external as well. It's a culture that clearly is exhibited from the top down.
It is, yeah. We're very focused on how do we keep employees at the center. We know that that is what will make us uniquely differentiated compared to others. So how do they feel that they can do their best work? How do they incorporate technology but also stay human as they consider their work design?
And Irving, when we think about WD specifically, the innovation trajectory, and of course privacy and security are big components of that equation. We're starting to have that conversation more in terms of what privacy, cybersecurity, data governance looks like with all this technology.
Yeah, absolutely. With massive amounts of data, more being stored, obviously privacy becomes a key aspect that we have to continue. So it's something, as Kris mentioned, we work very closely with our customers to ensure the products that we provide them are safe, secure, and equally important that they have that confidence when they deploy it and store their customers' data, they can rely on it as well.
All right, appreciate all of your insights. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me from MarketSite. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.